Something unusual has just happened inside Cameroon's power structure. And for once, Paul Biya didn't control the timing. After more than 4 decades of near absolute authority, the 92-year-old leader woke up to unexpected news. The kind of message that interrupts even the calmest presidency. Across the country, whispers began to rise. What's going on? Because when the Constitutional Council, one of the few institutions Biya himself created and filled with loyalists, suddenly changes course, it means something deeper is brewing. For the first time in a long while, Cameroonians sensed hesitation at the very top. And in a nation where everything political revolves around one man, that single moment of uncertainty felt like a victory for the people. Stay till the end, because what looks like a simple bureaucratic decision may actually signal cracks in the foundation of Paul Biya's long-standing rule. For weeks, the eyes of the nation have been fixed on the Constitutional Council, the only body empowered to proclaim the final presidential results. Across Cameroon, tension has been building since Election Day. Supporters of the ruling CPDM claim victory is certain, while opposition voices insist the people have spoken for change. In Douala, Bamenda, Yaoundé, and Garoua, citizens have been refreshing news updates, waiting to hear the final verdict that would seal the future of the country for the next 7 years. The law is clear. The Constitutional Council must proclaim results publicly, live, in front of cameras, and once it does, there's no turning back. And across the streets, people felt something they hadn't felt in years: hope. A rare sense that even for a brief moment, the mighty hand of power had flinched. That's why all eyes were on one date. October 23rd, the day everyone believed would finally bring clarity. As dawn broke over Yaoundé, the capital felt different. Not chaotic, just unusually quiet. A stillness that didn't feel natural. People woke up expecting a day of clarity, a day when the air would finally clear after weeks of political tension. Instead, what they found was confusion wrapped in calm. It was as if the entire political machine of Cameroon had suddenly pressed pause. Inside government offices, whispers replaced confidence. Civil servants scrolled through news updates with anxious faces. Even the state broadcaster, usually filled with triumphant coverage, had switched tone, replaying archived footage of past proclamations and speeches from previous years. No one dared speculate on air, but everyone knew something was off. At the headquarters of the CPDM, that quietness felt heavier. The same corridors that usually buzzed with certainty now echoed with uncertainty. Some insiders spoke of technical verifications. Others mentioned strategic reasons for the unexpected hold. But deep down, even party loyalists could sense it. Something about this delay didn't feel like routine procedure. In Douala, Bamenda, and Bafoussam, people watched carefully. Every small update, every rumor, every facial expression on TV was being analyzed like never before. And though the president himself had said nothing, as he often prefers, his silence this time carried a different weight. It was not the silence of control, but the silence of suspense. Cameroonians began to whisper that maybe, just maybe, the system was hesitating. That behind the calm face of government, something had gone wrong, or at least something unexpected had appeared. Across the streets, the mood was tense, but strangely hopeful. Others said quietly, "This country is changing. You can feel it." And while no one knew exactly what was happening, everyone agreed on one thing. Whatever message had reached the highest circles of power had disrupted the usual rhythm. For the first time in years, the air in Cameroon felt charged with the unknown. In Cameroon, power rarely trembles, but this week, it did. Inside Etoudi Palace, the rhythm of government had changed. The usual flow of briefings, meetings, and confident smiles was suddenly replaced by a heavy quiet. But everyone could feel it, a tension hanging in the air like a storm that refuses to break. Even among Paul Biya's most loyal allies, doubt had begun to creep in. Not open rebellion, just small, nervous glances and unfinished sentences. Some whispered that the Constitutional Council was rechecking documents. Others said the delay came after unexpected consultations. Yet for a presidency built on perfect control, any hint of uncertainty was dangerous. And outside the palace walls, the noise was getting louder. Opposition leaders were not keeping quiet. They had already declared victory, claiming that their own tallies showed the people had chosen change. Their supporters filled the airwaves and social media with bold statements. Cameroon has spoken. The council must respect the will of the people. For the first time in decades, opposition voices were setting the tone of the national conversation. They organized press briefings, marches, and live streams, insisting that the old order is collapsing. And every hour that passed without an official response from the council or the presidency made their claims sound more believable to ordinary citizens. It signaled that something deep was unfolding behind closed doors, that even Paul Biya, the man known for his composure and control, had been caught off guard by events moving faster than his system expected. For once, the ruler was waiting, and the people were watching. Even inside the ruling party, loyalists exchanged uneasy looks. Whether true or not, the perception alone was powerful. Across the land from Douala to Marua, one phrase echoed everywhere: "The palace is nervous." And in that nervous silence, Cameroonians felt something they hadn't felt in years, a sense that the future might finally be unpredictable. By the evening of October 22nd, the tension had reached its peak. Rumors, victory claims, and endless speculation filled every corner of the nation. All eyes were fixed on one institution, the Constitutional Council, expected to proclaim the presidential results the next day, on October 23rd. But late that night, just when anticipation was at its highest, an official communiqué quietly appeared, signed by the president of the Constitutional Council, Clement Atangana. Few lines of text, formal, cold, and bureaucratic, yet powerful enough to change the entire political atmosphere of the country. The Constitutional Council announced that the proclamation of the final results would be postponed. The new date, Monday, October 27th. That was it. No explanation, no interview, no emotion, just a notice. But those few words hit the nation like thunder. For the ordinary citizen, it sounded simple. For the political class, it was a shockwave. And inside Etoudi Palace, the message landed like bad news. Paul Biya, the man who had mastered timing for more than 4 decades, had just been forced to wait. For someone who built an entire system on control, the delay itself was humiliating. Across the capital, the whispers grew louder. Why postpone? What are they afraid of? Some claimed the council was under pressure to review petitions. Others said divisions had emerged within its members over the authenticity of certain regional tallies. Whatever the truth, the optics were terrible for the presidency, because in the eyes of many Cameroonians, the mighty had blinked. Opposition supporters exploded in celebration once more. They called it a victory of patience over power. To them, the postponement was proof that their movement had unsettled the regime, that the people's outcry had forced the institutions to hesitate. What started as an ordinary administrative notice became a national turning point. The people called it a small win. The palace called it a technical matter, but across the country, citizens agreed on one thing. For the first time in a long while, the power at the top had hesitated. The postponement, though temporary, carried symbolic weight. It gave Cameroonians something they hadn't felt in decades: leverage. It showed that even a system as solid as Paul Biya's could be forced to pause when faced with pressure from below. And as the nation looked toward October 27th, one question echoed from street to street. If the council can delay once, what else might it be ready to do? For Biya's inner circle, it was a warning. For Issa Tchiroma's supporters, it was hope. For the rest of Cameroon, it was proof that even the strongest regimes are not immune to uncertainty. As Cameroon waits for October 27th, one truth stands above all others: the wind of change is blowing, even inside the walls of power. Paul Biya's silence now speaks louder than speeches. Issa Tchiroma's supporters are still in the streets, dancing with hope. And the Constitutional Council's pause has turned into a test, not just of politics, but of destiny. Whatever the final results may be, these days have reminded Cameroonians that power is never permanent, and that even the mightiest system can hesitate when the people stand firm. So as we count down to Monday, the question remains: will this be the calm before continuity, or the dawn of something new? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our full coverage when the Constitutional Council finally speaks.